All right. It is, we'll call it 5 minutes after 3. My phone says 3 after 3. We are recording, though, so take your pick of those 2 times. We call the regularly scheduled meeting of the Durant Community Facilities Authority to order. And we'll have the clerk call the roll, please.
Okay. Trustee Baxter is absent. Trustee Blackburn is absent. Trustee Briscoe.
Here.
Trustee Dillard is absent. Trustee Grover.
Here.
Trustee Miller.
Here.
Trustee Simulescu is absent. Vice Chairman Pierce.
Here.
Chairman Webb.
Here. Outstanding. Let the record show we do have a quorum. Move to our order of business. First is consent items, and only item we show there is our approval of our regularly called meeting, the minutes from March 5 of 2024. If you've had an opportunity to review those and the information that was sent to you, we'll entertain a motion.
I so move that we approve the consent items.
Have
Second.
a motion and a second.
Okay. Trustee Briscoe.
Yes.
Trustee Grover.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Pierce.
Yes.
Chairman Webb.
Yes. Outstanding. Thank you. No items removed from consent. Go to our information items, and we are ready for our financial report. We missed you last time, so we're glad you're back with us.
Thank you. Okay, I think everybody had the financial summary.
Mm-hmm.
This one, the colorful one.
Yes.
The first page is your actually kind of like bank statement, but I just summarizes it, so easy for you to read it. The first column, you know, that is your income, sales tax.
Mm-hmm.
The second column is your long-term debt. That is every month that we put money to the trust account, and then every 6 months they will pay it out.
Yes.
And the third one is First United, that loan, and it's every month we just pay about $9,098.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fourth column is actually is a multi-sport complex and the Dcfa reimbursement, because we use the Claremont pool cash. You have the gross revenue checking account, and then also that in our system, our financial system, we use the pool cash. So the money just, for example, your sales tax get in our pool cash, and I transfer money from pool cash to your gross revenue account for the payment.
Yes.
But when we, for example, some audit fee, the computer fee, or some contract or something, whatever, those money we paid it out from the pool cash account. So from time to time, I have to move money from your gross revenue to cover the pool cash expense.
Right.
And the last column, fifth column, is your interest that earned from the this gross revenue account.
Mm-hmm.
Any question? The balance right now is $551,761.04.
Outstanding.
And you can see there's a bank statement behind it.
Yes. Okay.
And the next one is revenue and expense. This is also the summary. This summary is from our financial software, which means Encode, and I summarized it. The same. The first one is revenue and all this, whatever revenue you have, and the second column is regular debt, $9,098.89. That is every month we really just transfer money to the First United for the loan payment.
Mm-hmm.
And then miscellaneous expense, that is including contract. For example, this few months is audit fee.
Mm-hmm.
And then the computer service fee, and then all kinds of the fee.
Mm-hmm.
And now the net of this fund is $592,177.71. And the same, the back of it, I attached the Encode's report. And the last one is our sales tax revenue history. I put about 8 to 10 years average here, and then you can see the prior year is 104 333, and right now it's 104, 184. A little bit slightly drop, but not that big. So, and is there any question about this financial?
We're still solvent, and that's good,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So as we kind of come to the sunset of this whole thing, I guess I would. We were talking a little bit ago about we have a regularly scheduled meeting for September 3rd. It'd be the day after Labor Day, I guess, right? Yeah. Day after
Yeah.
my wife's birthday as well. So if you all want to make a note of that, Teresa's birthday is the 2nd. So kind of based on the timing, question was kind of brought up if it's something that we feel like it might be better to maybe postpone by at least a couple of weeks, maybe to kind of consider final
end of the
accounting
month.
of where everything stands, because at that point there'll be some.
Then I would suggest about after September 20th, because we have to do a lot of entry, and then so I would suggest after September 20th. That would be a better time.
Are there any ramifications from the board, like dissolving or anything at a certain time, or do we have a time crunch that,
That's
like
a
if
good
we
point,
wait
yeah.
so long that then they say, oh, no, it's not yours
You're
to
done,
determine
you're
what the money
gone.
is anymore? I want to make sure that we don't run into something like that. We should probably check with legal counsel on that, maybe with
Right.
Tom or something.
We can review that and then get back with you, is that right, Cindy, and determine that meeting date? Okay. Yeah. I
That
think,
would go to legal, wouldn't go to financial, just whether the board
Right.
dissolves when the tax is no longer being
Well,
taken up.
it'll be in the bylaws of however
Right.
it's written, and
Yeah.
what we need to make sure of there is that
okay,
it doesn't get just put into general funds or something of that nature that
Right.
we don't want to happen.
yeah. And then I think it might even be a good idea. I think it would be a good idea. Oh, go ahead. Yes.
The last payment for this debt service is September 30th.
September.
30th, and then one is October 1st, I believe.
Okay.
So even the September, we still have one payment we have to pay.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
will we know the numbers by that time? 'Cause
I
when
think
do-
so.
When do we quit collecting?
I think so.
I'm
yeah,
asking, when do we quit collecting? Or are we done collecting at this point?
What do you mean quit?
What is the last sales tax period that we will have money coming into the accounts for?
September 9th.
So we should have
Well-
that information
Mm-hmm, yes.
by the 9th, or relatively
Yes,
shortly after
yes,
that.
uh-huh.
And so by September 20 or so, you'll have everything paid. Like, when will we get a net number?
No, but September 20th is the time that we know our revenue, and we know how much we still need to pay. So we can do some, adjust, and then we will know
Okay.
how much we really left. Yeah.
I think you're right, we have to know the last day that we have authority.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, because one of the things I was even considering is, I think it's a good idea if it's possible that we wait until that date, but I think it would also be possibly a good idea for us to gather special called, if you will, prior to establish what the agenda needs to be for that final
So we
final
just need to
meeting,
meet as regularly scheduled, probably, right?
which is September 3rd.
So just meet as regularly scheduled, and then we will go ahead and establish in the next
Yeah,
meeting, which.
perfect, yeah.
Then we'll have the.
Yeah.
There's another issue, September 3rd, I'm not here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
will be
I
back
think that's
September 5th.
okay. I think what we're gonna look for is kind of procedure and protocol for what we'd like to do once we meet after that September 20th or on that September 20th date. I think it's more of a procedural thing that we would want to discuss, here's
Right.
here's how we're going to end this thing.
Yeah, there needs to be more than one meeting.
You betcha. Yeah.
Just have an extra special meeting to follow up in September.
Yeah.
We just
Right.
need to make sure that we're still
Yeah,
a
exactly.
board at the time that happens, so that
Yeah.
we're not
The
doing
authority
something
needs to
out of the
still
authority
exist.
of the
Yes.
authority.
We don't want the locks rekeyed.
Yeah.
We won't get
Yeah.
it right before the locks fit.
Okay. And I think then what we could do is we'll keep the September 3rd meeting on the book, and then we can review what this looks like date-wise as being reviewed here.
Does that work?
Mr. Pierce.
The September 20th,
Yes.
yeah.
And September 3rd.
3rd, I'm not here.
But again, I don't think we'll have financial numbers that we would want to necessarily review. Well, those won't be available. I just think we need to discuss how we, when we have those, what our process is going to be.
So first thing we need to determine is, when is our last
Yes.
date that we can actually have some.
Conduct business. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if that is after that September 3rd date, then we're okay.
Right.
Because I'm assuming that this is just an assumption, that we probably are going to be a actual committee up until the time that we say we're not gonna be a committee. That's my guess,
Right.
is what
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but we don't know that yet.
Right.
We gotta find that first, then we meet on if that's all okay, we meet on the 3rd, then we'll meet again with your numbers and determine how we're gonna spend the last.
So you will not be here on the 3rd?
No.
According to the,
You want to be a day when she's here?
We won't need to know those numbers though, because
We-
she won't
we may
even
have
have
it.
them. On the 3rd,
May
she
have it.
won't have the final numbers
Yeah,
anyway.
the 3rd, I also cannot have.
We're kind of snug it up, kind of seeing where
Right.
we're at.
Yeah.
If we
Yeah.
just walk in the last day that we have a
Sure.
go, here's the number, we go,
Right.
okay.
So,
Good point.
what is that a long-term absence, or is there
Well, I will be back September 6th, which means the Friday.
right? Okay, well, could we meet
Tuesday
then
after.
on the 10th, September 10th?
this says upon the termination of the trust, the trustees shall proceed to wind up the affairs of the trust, and after payments of all debts, expenses, and obligations out of the monies and properties of the trust estate, to the extent thereof, shall distribute the residual of the money and properties of the trust estate to the beneficiaries hereunder. Upon final distribution, the powers, duties, and authority of the trust herein shall cease. So I think that
So where
says
it's an
that we,
open-ended,
we
when
can
we
set it,
determine-
and then once all business is
Right.
done, we'll be able to handle that.
Good.
Yeah.
So, I agree with you. Do we need somebody to say that that's how we interpret it? Yeah, okay, yeah, I just, that's, oh, no, for years and precedence has been set that this is how that is regarded. So, okay, yeah, that's good. So yeah, if we could then, we'd like to establish that for September the 10th. We'll have that discussion, and Cindy, if you would, sure, yeah. Okay, thank you. Perfect, okay, good, all right. Yeah,
Okay.
any other questions about the report? There's, good management, thank you, appreciate that. All right, arena and convocation, I know Keith's gone, but I know you got a arena full of people, right? We're
Yeah.
using that sucker.
Oh, since our last meeting, record-setting graduate, correct?
Yes.
Record-setting graduation, we had 2 Friday, Saturday graduations where the arena was full.
Mhm.
Am I wrong on
Right.
that?
Yeah, it was 800 plus total, so.
For graduates, plus
Yeah.
the stands were
Yeah.
full.
Yeah.
Durant High graduated, a full house, I was there for that. Silo graduated, smaller graduation, and then the month of June is full of camps. We've got 40-plus high school basketball teams playing as we speak. Men's basketball, we'll have that same thing starting Monday, and then we'll probably run another 200-plus through camp the rest of June. So we're probably talking 1,500 kids through the month of June through the arena.
You played with the Jumbotron in the arena yet?
I have not. Well, actually, that's not true. I shut it down yesterday. So the new Jumbotron installed in the arena, much wider, clearer. Jumbotron also installed at Pollard Field.
They got fired up yesterday. Go to Go Southeastern on Facebook, on your social media. Go Southeastern, and you'll see this thing. They're going to integrate the sound to come from the scoreboard as well, from the Jumbotron. The announcer there told me that the sound in the press box is terrible. That'd be me. And so new sound that will project from that scoreboard, and so it should be a great new upgrade. So awesome. Thank you, sir. Parks and Recreation, nothing going on out there, right?
No.
I've been chasing my grandson around out there a lot, and hey, there is a I'm sorry, I'm jumping in, I'm hijacking before you even start. There's an umpire out there, and I'll get his name, that needs to have a gold medallion and a halo, because he is some kind of good to our kids.
Well, I'm not in charge of any.
I got you.
umpires,
I know.
so
Yeah.
so that's Bryan County Sports.
Mhm.
I'll let them know.
But it's a good
that.
thing.
So projects that we currently have going on. You guys approved the lights at Carl Albert. That has been started. I have the lights. We're waiting on the vendor to bring me the poles to put in. That'll be just for around the walking track and for the parking lot of the pool. At the complex, shade structures. Every ball field at softballs, I say all the small stands are mostly done, other than baseball. We have a small, 2 small stands that need to be covered. We're planning on doing that whenever we can get equipment back in that area. And then we have our 2 large softball stands, and then 2 small stands at soccer that we're looking at. The track, the last thing that you guys approved last, Tuesday, Wednesday, last time it was raining during the day, we did the final walkthrough. Everything looked great. It is thinner than what it was before, because apparently the last time they did this, they just put a new layer of surfacing on top and called it good. This time they took the whole surfacing off. They repaired all the asphalt underneath. It is water permeable, so the water doesn't seep in. It drains off, and I have been able to witness it draining off, and it does a really good job there. Around the football field is completely flooded. But so we're working on that. The last thing that we lack is the striping. Now that the surfacing's actually done, we're getting on the schedule for the striping. It will be up to NCAA standards, so we should be able to host Southeastern track meets. We'll have to get, I think, hot pole vaulting. The pads for pole vaulting. We'll have to get a new, because that shade, or the structure that was, or shed that was over that, blew away a long time ago, and then nothing's happened since. The high jump, all that stuff, to me looks good. I need to talk to the track coach and have him come out and tell me what's good and what's not, because I honestly have no idea.
Right.
And by looking at it, it looks fine. So we'll start working on that. Rec leagues. Since the last time we met, baseball, softball is still going on, mainly because of rainouts, but they're hoping to wrap up by mid-June. They had around 900 kids signed up for baseball, softball. Soccer had around 200 kids. Flag football started May 24th. They will be run until June 30th. He hasn't given me the numbers on how many players they have for that. We, as a city, we started running our own adult softball league. This year we had 112 to 113 people participate. So we're looking pretty good on that. And we're going to start doing that in the fall and spring. And next year we're looking to add flag football, and if my pickleball courts ever get done, pickleball.
How's that adult league going? Good?
People take softball way too seriously.
Yeah.
Even though we put on the rules, this is a for fun league. Yeah. I'm trying to keep costs low, so I don't have to hire professional umps. Yeah. But the more arguments that happen, the more likely we'll have to raise the rates to calm people down.
3 fights in my life, and one of them was at an adult rec league softball. So I was just wondering. I didn't win.
Dixon Durant, same thing. We have all the lights. The lights have been installed around the tennis courts. We have to replace the ground wire. We're going to look at that next fiscal year. But the lights around the parks, we're again waiting on light poles just so they can get installed. Pavilion, I will have my guys start working on a shade structure over the last concrete pad. Once my playground gets done, just because I don't want that much equipment around there all at once. And then special events. I'm hoping you guys have seen these signs around town and on Facebook. We've had to move dates around because of rain, but it's a total of 17 different events throughout the month of June. It's 7 locations, 9 different organizations are participating, and we're already looking at next year of what to add, trying to get more people involved. It's the first of its kind in the nation. We are being featured in the National Parks and Rec magazine in either the August or July or September issue, because usually when you hear multi-sport festival, it is multiple sports that associate with the same sport. So all the track events, that's technically a multi-sport festival or event. This is vastly different. We have flag football, stickball this weekend. I try to get scuba diving. We're having a soccer camp next week. We had a fishing deal last weekend. We're doing 2 movies in the park out there. We're going to have disc golf. We have gymnastics, Ninja Warrior, our adult softball, and then youth baseball and softball, cornhole, and we're going to finish out with rugby. Like I said, we're already looking at next year, hoping to add more events to incorporate more people, to bring people into town. Right now, our total of participants is 180 something with just with the fishing tournament and the movie. So we're gonna keep building off of that. And like I said, we had to move things around just because it rained.
A lot of rain.
And so it's making where we were supposed to have a baseball tournament last weekend. Well, rain made it where the end of season tournament for baseball wasn't going to be at the end of May. It got pushed into June, so their tournament is slowly becoming, their end of season tournament will be the Durant Sports Festival. And disc golf is adding a big event at the end of the month to qualify for nationals. So we're going to keep building on it. This will be a yearly thing, starting off with once a year, and hopefully in the future do twice a year, one in November and one in July or June.
Very cool.
And if you go to any of these events, you shouldn't miss a worker.
Nice.
The staff that work or planned it, they'll be wearing those shirts, hopefully, if they actually stick to it, so we can people know who to thank or to acknowledge for these events. Any questions?
Sounds good, man.
Okay. Well, thank you guys.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Very good. All right, we move to administration. I know this is an annual thing that we look at. Consideration approval of the motion to file the Durant Community Facilities Authority fiscal year financial plan.
Yeah, this is the one that every year that you have to, because you have to file with the City of Durant, and it will including into our budget.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, do we have a copy of that? Is that I don't think I. Yeah. There we go. Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, the same that you can see the revenue, of course, just projected it. And then the beginning on encumbrance plus the revenue is about 2 million.
Mhm.
And then all those parade fee and then all those trustee fee, those about 10,000. And then you will see the debt service about 1.2, not 1.19, so about 1.2. And the transfer out, that is one is the insurance cash fund, and another one is 300. That is for the during multi-sport complex, those maintenance, you know, the maintenance, the field, and then
Right.
and yeah. And then the 400, that is for the capital improvement. So that. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He put it down about 1.2, but I already transferred 400. Here's your list. Mm-hmm.
So, from what City Council has approved for capital improvement, we're gonna replace the scoreboards at football, and then 2 baseball fields and 2 softball fields. PO box, or press box, PA system, so when Special Olympics or the softball tournament happens and they use the press boxes, they can actually make announcements and they can play music on the over the PA system. So we're gonna make those improvements. Automatic gate, so people stop doing donuts in my parking lot at evening, we can actually lock the gate. And sprinkler system, we don't have mapping wiring for our current sprinkler system, and I have a quote for to redo it all, to get the mapping, to figure out, okay, this new system will actually detect when leaks happen, so it's not, oh, there's a mud puddle over here. That's how we find out now. It'll detect it when it happens. And then the shade covers for the big softball stands.
Mhm.
That's all for next year. And then I have other things but that'll be for additional projects that you guys look at.
Right.
Well, I have all that. So the big ticket item for the additional projects, the LED light complex lighting, that is really for the soccer fields. There's no lighting over there. It's going to be about $150,000 per field. This would even only just get 2 of the 3 fields out there. Mainly where soccer currently plays, it will have lights for those. Also, new shop, moving Parks and Rec all in one, getting all the equipment, building big enough to hold all the equipment. That way I'm not spread so much. We're all right there. I can have guys divide up along that way. We have all of our equipment in one area, and the one area that uses the most equipment. So, and then plans for the expansion, using the last bit of the funds to plan for the future, and see what all we can do with the current property we own, and get that planned out by someone other than myself and Google Earth.
Right.
What's the price on that part?
I estimated 50,000 because that's usually how much they can start out for. But it would be a bid process that they would have to bid it out. We're trying to get the expansion just for the fields, parking lot, and possibly the indoor facility on the expansion part.
So the 400 is under miscellaneous reimbursement, but should it be under capital improvements, which is the next line item?
Yes, but that is because our GL, we only have the transfer to the capital improvement. That's why I put it into the miscellaneous reimbursement. So when he has the project, we just put the money in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've not done that before, though, right?
We did that when we repair, what is that?
The parking lot.
Not,
No.
no, the track. That's a long time ago.
$260,000 transactions on that for in 2021, 2022 year.
60,000?
That was,
That's what we have.
I believe if that was in my capital, that was the year I started. The only thing that we had out there planned was, that's what they estimated for the shade structures for the entire complex, which was a grossly undervalued deal.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
with that money, we're able to do all the small structures, just not the big ones.
Well, I can, if you want to, I can create another GL for the capital improvement, something like that.
Well, I guess what I'm looking at is that I was thinking that was kind of the process that we were going through, like, yeah, on page one, our transfers.
That is 820, that is for this year.
Yeah,
The-
well,
the
I just mean
$300,000.
the two $307,000 transfers that we made for the two projects. And we'd kind of had discussion, I think, about how we were going to disperse those equally between the two projects, which is why they're equal disbursements of $307,383 that we did, several weeks back. And so I think that was kind of the discussion of the authority that's how we would proceed with remaining funds, is that we would disperse those equally between the two projects, the projects at the multi-sports
You mean
complex and the projects at Southeastern, the arena and the field.
Southeastern, we cannot use the transfer. We have to pay it out. That is the difference, because
Mhm.
the only transfer we will do is in the city,
Mhm.
in the different fund. So the Southeastern, that one that we actually is, have the GL, so that reimbursed to the Southeastern project.
We're talking about the
First-
future funds, though,
Yes, the same.
no, we're talking about the additional funds that are left over.
Uh-huh.
The way it reads to us, and the way we're understanding this, is the city would get all of those for the city projects, and the college would not have any say in any additional projects that they may want to do with some of that money as well, which this authority has the
Yes,
ability
you can
to
do that.
approve.
You can do that after the July 1st. If, for example, we know we have $100,000 left, and then you want to use it for the Southeastern project, the same, I do the budget amendment, which means I move the money from this place, if we, for example, our revenue, or we have some money left,
Mhm.
and then we can move that money from this GL to the Southeastern project GL, and then paid it out.
Mhm.
But you've already earmarked 400,000.
Yes, uh-huh.
Then what we're saying is, I think we're all on the same page, is if we're looking at that, then there ought to be 400,000 for multi-sports, 400,000 for Southeastern. Or 200,000.
Yeah, why can we not
For-
earmark
for-
that right now instead of waiting until
For my,
we
okay,
decide
excuse
that
me.
there's something that we want to use?
For my understanding, the multi-sport complex supposed to be the Dcfa manage it. And that's why I put all the maintenance, all this with the Dcfa, because the first, I believe, 15 years, the DCUA, Utility Authority, every year transfer $400,000
Mhm.
to cover all these expenses. So that's what, for my understanding, is that DCFA is supposed to manage the multi-sport complex.
Mhm.
But someone told me that one put it on the cities. So that's how it started. The utility authority just subsidize the money every year to the multi-sport complex.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't have a question about that. We have a question about there's essentially $700,000 going into one fund and $0 going into the other fund.
Another thing that I have to point out,
Mhm.
I think when the Southeastern and the Durham Multi-Sport Complex, they borrow the money in one debt payment, debt service. And those one that actually Southeastern spend about 60% of those funds. And Durham Multi-Sport Complex only spend about 40, I don't know, about 40%.
Right.
And really that quarter cents is supposed to be half-half, which means that our quarter cent pays some of the Southeastern's debt payment. Does that make sense? It's supposed to be 50-50. If you borrow the 10 million, suppose the Southeastern's project for 5 million, Durham Multi-Sport Complex 5 million, but it's not that case.
Right.
I think we've been down this road before.
Right.
No, I mean I think it's
I know, I think that we've been down
17
this.
million or something.
We've been down this road before, and because if that were I'm not saying that's true, not true, I don't know, but I'm not seeing that right here. What we're seeing right here is just looks to me a little bit like a sleight of hand.
Blank check.
Yeah. That's what because that's what I'm seeing.
I think when the trust was established, it was established for both parties. It wasn't established to say 50% goes here and 50% goes there. That's your interpretation of it, but that was never clearly marked. I have it right here, and I haven't seen anything that says 50-50.
Well, okay, for the sales tax point of view, it's quarter cent, 2 quarter cents, so which means is each one half of it. Each one got one of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know how this
Sure.
this become 2 different projects, 2 different entities, and then use one debt payment. That is a 2004, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess part of that is just based on reimbursement for operation of the multi-sports complex. I recall in years past this very day when we would come to this point and we would approve this process, the process of the Facilities Authority fiscal year financial plan and approving that, and it would reimburse the city for operation of the complex and maintenance I'm just trying to remember exactly what that was, but it was a significant number, like the number we're talking about. But again, at some point it would catch up with, I guess, with the expense incurred for the projects at the university.
Historically, we didn't even start doing that until 2022.
Right.
Well, it's
was the
listed
first
right
year.
here. 675, 675,
Yeah.
820, and then 300,000 is what.
Yeah.
I mean,
They budgeted 820,000. We took some of that to buy jumbotrons with, but we had to claw it back basically. So that's what we're going to do again.
The city also subsidized some of the expense for the Durham Multi-Sport Complex.
Originally, that was the whole point of the sports complex, is that the city would actually subsidize the running of it. And so that was never in the original agreement for us to pay for employees and things like that. We voted to do that because we saw the need there. But that didn't start until 2022, the year that we budgeted $675,000.
Well, I don't know. That's what I heard from the. I know I heard from the prior city manager, so
Right,
I'm not
right.
so sure about that.
I understand
Yeah.
that.
the problem, as I see it, is we've been presented this to approve this, and then this was just stuck in here, and so it's difficult to go ahead and approve this.
You can change it after if you have the project and then you think that you really need it, I think you still can change it. And another thing is, I believe this is you accepted it, not approved it for the authority, right?
Consider approval of the motion to file.
That is a file to the CD, not the approve the budget.
Right.
This authority is not like the general fund is so restrict. This is just just like private sector, that you can change your budget anytime, not that restrict like the general fund.
My understanding is the exact opposite of that. We approve it, and then it goes to council to be put into the general budget.
Correct. Other questions or comments that we have? So we would await a motion to do that, is that correct? Is that our process? So I'd open the floor for any other comments or if there is a motion.
The one thing I do know is if we don't approve that, then the city can't approve their budget, and they need to get their budget approved.
Yes.
So we need to figure out how that needs to be worded or whatever so that we can allow them to proceed forward as well.
Okay.
And we have to do that, I think, before, when's your meeting?
Next week.
Next Tuesday.
Well, then our options here are, somebody makes a motion to approve this budget. If it gets turned down, then we have to schedule another meeting with adjustments made to this budget that will get approved. Am I right? Or we make a motion and it gets approved. But we have to do something with this budget that's sitting right here, because we can't really table it.
Right.
Unless we table it with the understanding, and this goes to the rules of, but do we table it with the understanding that we're going to go ahead and schedule another meeting with adjustments made?
Tight.
Well, I have to say again, this budget, it's not like not really restrict, so you still can change it. And the thing that I need to point out is the capital improvement, that you might need to, right now you have to decide which one you want the multi-sport complex to do it. So
the 400,000 is going to sit there. Will it be dependent on us to approve in the future to be spent?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Because all those capital improvement is come out from the Dcfa's sales tax money.
So essentially, you guys are approving the budget, but I can't go forward on any projects until you guys approve of
Okay.
that project.
Are we
Hey.
sure of that?
I am gonna tell you, we don't need to table it, because if you table something, it has to come back the exact same form it's in now. If you no action it, she can go do modifications to it, bring it back, and we accept or deny whatever we wanna do. But don't table it, cause it has to come back identical to what it's
I
at.
thought, okay. And that because we're just thinking about it as we
Yeah,
table
table it would just be like, well, we're not real sure, let's come back.
Right.
to
So
the
that's
next
out.
meeting.
Yeah. Okay.
So, no
So
action would probably be it, and then we'll have to schedule another meeting quick, if we're gonna do that.
And I don't know if you heard the discussion.
Right.
So and I think we got to make sure that this is true, but we are just approving that it's put in there. Do we still have to approve for it to be spent?
I think where my problem with that statement that you just made is that it already looks like we've earmarked it for all of these things on this sheet. And
But
so-
as we said, we would have to approve those projects before it could be spent for those projects.
that-
Those are the proposed uses, but But I think we would approve, should this be approved, is that those funds be allocated to the reimbursement fund for capital improvements. But we're not approving any capital improvements. It's just, that's what those dollars would be earmarked for. Is that correct? Is my statement correct there?
Well, for the authority, it's accept the budget, it's not approve or not approve.
Right.
Yeah, so you can say that, okay, I'm accept this project, the ABCD project or something, yeah.
So with that form that you were holding up that had the list of projects, that's my plan for it. That doesn't necessarily, that's what I present to the city manager. What goes through, I have no control. So it's not like they allocated it, it's just, that's what my plan is for the park.
I understand that. I think your plan has the entirety of that money in there, where I'm just saying for this authority's purposes, we also look out for not only the sports complex money, but we also look at the college as far as like the improvements that could be done there as well. And that's where I'm missing that on this sheet, is there's nothing on here that says that there may be something that we want to do out at the college as well.
And I think that's a secondary proposal, because the $400,000 that is being requested to be utilized under miscellaneous reimbursement for capital improvements is not allocated then for any particular project. We're just allocating those funds to capital improvement, but not approving any projects.
Well,
correct?
I know what you mean. So if you want to use on the southeastern, you can use it.
Well, I'm saying if it's the greatest idea in the world and we allocate all $400,000, that's not what we're doing here today. Is we're approving that those funds go into the reimbursement account, but we're not allocating those funds to any particular project.
You have to, yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay, yeah, okay, we can do that.
I'd
Well, let me say this on this. I'm sorry, Chris, but the question would be, why even put it in the budget as an allocation when we've historically just said we need this and we go ahead and approve because we see that there's cash in there to do it? Why even put it in the proposed budget?
That's my ask, is that we just go back and put it in there as capital improvements, don't earmark it for something, and then we don't disappoint anybody we look like the bad guys if we vote against the whatever thing is on this list that somebody wanted that we didn't approve because we ran out of money.
But to Darren's question, I guess it's, what is the purpose of having it there in the first place?
Improvement use.
Right.
Not specified for the Durham
Right.
Municipal Complex.
But why
we can
have
do
it
that.
there? Why do we even need it there? Why is it on the sheet right now? And I know why it was in there. Let's all be real here. It was to spend on these things. That's why it was on it. And I understand, but then let's all call it spade a spade. That's why it was put in there.
In the past, we can do that because sometimes that our revenue is higher, and then yes, we do that. But this is the last budget. I just want to put everything in it, make it, that how much we have, and then so.
I think that's the reason for a September 3rd meeting, is we have a little clearer idea of what does remain, 100% of what does remain, and then to make an informed decision on how those get allocated, and not how those funds minus $400,000 get allocated.
Yeah, you know it.
To Darren's point, if I was the city, I wouldn't want to allocate something that I knew was going to be taken away from, or potentially taken away from me anyway. I mean, so I'd really like to, what was the wording? The no action this, and then let them fix it, and then we can come back and vote on, having it there the way it should read, in my opinion.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, then you
Any-
have to give me, what you want me to put as soon as possible, because next Tuesday will be the council meeting.
Right. Well, I think what we're talking about is the previous item we had discussed, that meeting to look at what's remaining in the pool and how we can make the best and greatest impact for our city with all of the funds remaining, and not all, again, I would just say not all of them minus $400,000, but all of those funds, and so we can make a determination of how we make that impact.
Okay, you have to remember when I do the budget, it's estimated it.
Mm-hmm.
Even the revenue, I'm not so sure. The sales tax
Okay,
revenue
but
is
we'd be
most
okay if it's more than
unpredictable.
$400,000. I think, well, anything north of there, I think we would be okay with, even less. But I just think that all of that revenue should be considered, and not all of it minus 400,000 that we're not exactly sure where that would be used.
Okay, then just let me know
Mhm.
how you're gonna do change it, and
Yeah.
then.
Delete the
I
400, the
think
line
that-
item 400,000.
I
Just-
think
that's,
is that
So where you
is that
gonna
where we would
put
be?
the 400,000?
you just delete it from this proposed budget.
Right? There wouldn't be.
It would be unbalanced budget. You're gonna have 400 surplus at the bottom.
Can you not just earmark that for
We
the
can do that
purposes?
too. Yes, we can do that too. Just leave that 400 as the kind of like surplus.
Surplus,
something like
yes.
that. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
What,
Yeah.
that's what we're asking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that what you're estimating, what's gonna be left is 400,000 at the end?
Maybe, yes.
Right. Okay.
Well, I think that's because you're saying that it needs to be balanced, but I don't really understand.
No,
when-
the authority doesn't really need to be balanced, but what I like to do is all the fund. We have 33 funds. I like all the fund got balanced. That's just my preference.
Okay.
Yeah, but the authority fund just like private sector, private company. You
Mhm.
don't need to be, your revenue have to equal your expense. So, if you want to take it out 400, we can do that.
Mhm.
I think that's what we wanna do.
Then we have to
Yeah.
read.
And so we would just
Ooh,
no action this particular item
Hold on.
and have a
We
special.
already published on the newspaper.
Well, before we got a chance to vote on it?
It's just, let me think. Do we still have time? We have to publish again. Because they want to take out $400,000, so I was short of 400,000. For the expense.
So then what happens when we take no action? Because we're about to I'm about to make a motion to take no action here.
I will
Yeah.
suggest,
Yeah. I
okay,
don't even know that
let's
it's.
put that 400 to, because the total amount did not change, because we already published. I would suggest put that to the fund reserve. So that will not change it, and then take that 400 to the fund reserve. So if you want to use it, whatever you want to do it,
Right.
for the next year,
Yes.
you want to do the project, and I move money from the fund reserve to the
Reserve account.
to the project that you want to.
Can we make a motion to approve the budget contingent on you making those changes?
Sorry?
Can we make a motion to approve the budget contingent on you making the changes that we're
Financial plan.
asking
Yes.
for?
I think we can, right?
the total number, and it will be
Yeah, the
balanced.
total-
It's
the
just
total
that
number will
400,000 will be held in a different
Yeah,
place.
the total number is still
Yeah.
the same, but the 400 we move to the,
To surplus.
Fund reserve. So when next year, if you have any, you let him to do any improvement or something, then we can do that.
Was the capital improvements plan listed here, included in the newspaper?
That I assigned 400, the total is 1.2 million, right? And I assigned 400,000, and then he,
That's what I submit to City Hall.
For your
And
budget,
that's
sure.
my plan.
Okay.
Mhm.
So that may get, you want to do all those things, that may get
Yeah.
spread out over a couple of years
Yeah.
if you didn't have the
If-
budget
if-
to do that or
Yeah,
whatever.
if
Okay.
it doesn't get approved, it's just, I move it to
Right.
year 6.
Yeah, I
and
got you.
Just restart.
Got it. Thank you.
The contingency, we
I-
can,
the fund reserve.
I will make a motion that we approve the budget with the contingency that we move that $400,000 into a surplus
To to the fund reserve.
for the fund reserve for surplus, yes.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Okay.
Trustee Briscoe?
Yes.
Trustee Grover?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Pierce?
Yes.
Chairman Webb?
Yes. Yes. All right. Woo!
This is the biggest audience we've had in a long time.
All right. Any other new business that we have?
So I wanted to be sure, is the next, are we having a September meeting on the 3rd? Or you talked about the 10th?
Talked about doing the 10th, so we can have.
That is also our council day, and
Okay.
we've got a council member right here. I don't know.
Okay.
w-
What time?
They're talking about, well, I'm guessing you meant 3 o'clock.
I got all the time.
Could be pretty brief. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as
September
it
10th,
doesn't.
3 o'clock.
I've got to change gears and
Yeah.
get the room set up, so, after that, so. But the room is available on September 10th at 3.
I guess the question that we would need to ask ourselves on that is, do we need Angie in here? Because if we do, then it doesn't need to be on October the 3rd.
No.
Yeah.
It'll be 10th
The
September.
10th.
She'll be back. She'll be back.
There
on
could be
the
some questions. Yeah,
she'll
I
be
think.
gone the 3rd.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll be
Yeah.
gone that day.
If you want more time, you could always do September the 11th.
Well, that's.
10th is fine.
I think we're all good. 10th?
I think.
10th.
Are you good with
Okay.
being the council day?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just gonna get me off work or anything.
There you go. So,
Okay.
let's go with 10.
All right.
Okay.
September 10th, 3 o'clock.
Yep. I'll take care of it.
Okay. All right. Any other new business that we have?
I move to adjourn.
Motion
Second.
And a second?
Okay. Trustee Briscoe?
Yes.
Trustee Grover?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Pierce?
Yes.
Chairman Webb?
Yes. Thank you. Appreciate your time.